in the fall semester of my sophomore year in college, I had just an absolutely terrible schedule on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It was packed, and I didn't like it at all, and I couldn't eat lunch until 2 o'clock. And by then, all my friends were gone off to class or the library, or my friends didn't go to the library. They were elsewhere, but they were gone. So there was only one person I knew who had a similar schedule and had lunch at the same time. And she was somebody that a girlfriend I had introduced me to, and she was kind of part of our group of friends, although I had never spent time with her unless there were 10 or 12 other people around, right? So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we sat and had lunch together. And as the semester went on, I found the conversations to be meaningful and deep and interesting. And pretty soon, I started looking forward to Tuesdays and Thursdays. And as the semester came to an end, I thought, I like this person. She's intriguing. She's someone I want to know better. She's someone I want to pursue a relationship with. But I was scared. I was afraid. I was afraid that I might do something that would upset the relationship, the friendship that we had established. And of course, since we had so many friends in common, right, my biggest fear was that she wouldn't feel the same way and she would reject me and it would be awkward. So I was afraid of rejection. And I thought, what's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing that could happen is she would say no. And I was afraid of that no, but I got past that and I said, well, no, the worst thing that could happen is she would say yes. And she would go out with me and have a terrible time and come back and tell all my friends what a loser I am. So I was paralyzed with this fear of rejection, this fear of embarrassment. And that fear held me for not just weeks, but for months and months. And finally, I came to the realization that I couldn't let that fear control me. I had to let myself be vulnerable. And I'm so glad I did, because I married that girl 38 years ago, and we raised 3 kids together. But you see, I don't believe that hatred is the opposite of love. I believe fear is the opposite of love. Fear is what keeps us small. Fear holds us back. That fear of vulnerability, that fear of putting ourselves out there, that fear of rejection, that fear of embarrassment. Fear keeps us small, and fear keeps God small. In our Pentecost story, the disciples are locked in fear. They're locked behind walls. And we get it. We understand it. They had a lot to be afraid of. They saw what happened to Jesus. And they knew that Romans didn't crucify people so publicly just to punish the person. They did it to instill fear. And if they came out and continued the work of Jesus, they very well might face the same fate. So their fear was legitimate. Their fear was real, and I think we can all understand it. So they hid out. But then something happened. Something happened. Jesus shows up, and he breathes the breath of the Holy Spirit on them. And they find within that the courage to go, nothing changed. Nothing outside of them changed. Nothing in the world changed. It was still the same. The Romans were still out there instilling fear. The violence was still out there. The world around them didn't change. The world within them changed because they were infused with that breath of the Holy Spirit, and they found the courage. They found the courage to go out into the world and share the news and spread the love and preach the joy. They crashed through the fear with the gift of the Holy Spirit. Fear holds back love. And boy, don't we need that Holy Spirit in our hearts and in our world today. The world we live in is not so different from the world that those disciples lived in. It really isn't. For the last generation, going back to September 11th, 2001, we have been a people gripped by fear. We've chosen to hide behind the walls and protect ourselves. We are afraid of terrorist attacks. We are afraid of mass shootings. We are afraid of catastrophic financial implosion and collapse. We are afraid of the other. And that's real. And that's legitimate. But you know what? That's not going to change by itself. The world out there isn't going to change. The world in here must change. We are called to open ourselves to the gift of the Spirit, this Holy Spirit that breathes the breath of life into us and animates us with strength and wisdom and courage, the courage to love in the face of fear, the courage to go forward into a world and be people of joy and people of compassion and people of mercy and people of love. And yes, that will make us vulnerable. It absolutely will, just as it did the disciples. But the Holy Spirit comes upon us if we open ourselves and gives us the strength, the courage, the wisdom to do it, to go forward. And may that courage of the Holy Spirit rain down upon you. It's too easy. It's too easy to keep God at a distance outside of ourselves, this Creator God. It's too easy to keep Jesus, as much as we love him, outside of ourselves. We need the Spirit to bring God within ourselves, inside our own breath, our own minds, our own thoughts. That's the gift of the Holy Spirit. And may that gift of the Holy Spirit pour itself down upon you. And may that gift of the Holy Spirit's courage stir the heart within you. And may that gift of the Holy Spirit's courage flow into the world through you.